So this week, we start our delve into the dark side of the binder with Isaku, episode 1. Join me after the title card to see how this all turns out. Well, hello and welcome to the H Binder. New episodes are posted here every Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I have to start getting my intro ready for this show. I know I didn't really do much for the Magical Twilight episodes because I was just trying to figure everything out. So I'm going to get this a little more situated. Today we are moving from light and fluffy to dark. How dark, I am not sure. I feel like this is going to be middle of the road dark. It is fairly old. I want to say it's from 94, maybe 95. Isaku is based off of a popular eroge, or visual novel for adults, from Elf, who also created like Dokyusei and other very like romance heavy stuff. So this was their foray into the dark and disturbing. Isaku has the difference from the other games in that particular line is Isaku does not have Isaku be the main character. Isaku is a character. He is this I believe he's the oldest son of this wealthy family of perverts. And these men, it's Isaku, Shusaku, and Kisaku. They get jobs where they are in positions where they can watch and eventually blackmail young women and get them to do things for them. And by things, we can all guess what that's going to be. So we are definitely in dark territory. We are in hazy to non-con territory. We are in, I wouldn't call it dark romance territory, but having read dark romance, this is not far off from that. We're definitely going to be getting into some depravity and all that stuff. So I'm going to be interested to see how early Pink Pineapple handles this material, because they were releasing this around the same time they were releasing Magical Twilight. So this is going to be it's going to be a big shift. I've seen the first couple of minutes of this, so I know it gets right to it. But not entirely sure what to expect, because I do know later entries in this series are very different. This one is kind of the outlier in that it has a different main character. Our main character is a good guy who's trying to help everybody and who gets caught up in all of this stuff. So we'll see how that all goes. All right. I'll see you guys after I watch the episode. So I don't have the fancy disc for this one. I just got the backup burn disc that I have around. These discs are hard to find, buddy. So it's the best I could do. Let's give this a go. All right. We're on the other side of Isaku. So I'm just going to do this right now. I'm shooting towards the end of the day. There is a lot of noise going on in my house and in my neighborhood. I try and block it out the best I can. But short of kicking everyone out of my house, which I would never do because no. And telling everyone in my neighborhood to shut up, which no. There might be noise in the background. So I apologize ahead of time if there's anything that's distracting you. But like I said, I do my best to try and cover it up. So, the show. Both what I expected, and there were some twists in there that I did not see coming. I enjoyed it. As much as you can enjoy something like this. Let me preface that. We are dealing in dark territory. We are dealing in non-consent territory. I'm going to try and be as respectful as possible while talking about this, but understand it's going to come up, and it's because it's literally baked into the premise of the show that you're going to run into that a lot with a lot of hentai series. It is just part of the material. Does that mean it's okay? You know, you get into tricky territory because I see the same arguments happening around stuff like dark romance and dark erotica. This really does fall into dark erotica territory, by the way. Not dark romance. We don't have a romantic aspect to it, but we definitely have an erotic aspect to it. The erotic part is played out more than the reality of what is happening, if that makes sense. So, if you can handle something like Haunting Adeline, which I had to read for a book club book for my office, if you can handle that, you could probably handle this show. It's very similar in kind of tone and content. Although no guns are involved in Isaku. Isaku has no guns. Also, going through this review, I am going to go into spoilers. That's the only way to really talk about this fully and give you an idea of my experience watching it. So if this is a show that sounds interesting to you, go around, look around online. You can find it if you're over 18 or 21, depending on where you live. You could probably find it. I don't know if there are legal copies of this specific show that are available. I know there are legal copies of the later series. And when I say legal, I mean like there is a company that is still distributing it. Shusaku still has discs that are being distributed. There's a collection. Isaku, I don't believe, has a collection out there. I think the New Tech discs were kind of it. Those are long out of print. That license has expired. So I feel less bad saying, hey, look and see what you can find. I will not give you links though. So going into spoiler territory, this show off the bat lets you know what you're getting into. The first thing you see is someone getting assaulted. It is literally the first 2 minutes of the show. It is done in a very interesting and creepy way, intentionally creepy, like it's trying to set you off kilter, where you do not see the assailant. It's like a wall of shadow and then hands and a body shape kind of come out of it, but you never see who the assailant is. This also sets up a kind of whodunit throughout the show, which you don't even realize is a whodunit until you get midway through this episode. The reason I say that is because there's a twist that happens midway through that I did not see coming that really changed how I viewed the show and really made me wonder, how is this going to wrap up and what is actually going to get revealed? Now, I do know that the sequel series to this, Isaku Respect, goes into the heads of some of the female characters and gives us a different viewpoint of what's going on and kind of fills out the blanks. So if I can get through this one and I don't hate it, I might check that one out at some point. It won't be right away. I need to space these kinds of series out. That's why I actually do these one by one instead of just doing a whole series at once, because it's easier for me to sit down, watch 30 minutes, and then I can take a couple days and let my head clear and kind of be like, okay, I've processed it, on to the next one. All right. So we have the assault happen. This turns out to be the sister of one of our characters, Miyuki. No one knows who did it, but it happened in the old school building. So after that happened, the building was boarded up, closed up, and the students were told to stay the heck away. They don't, because of course they don't. If they did, we wouldn't have a show. After we have that, we meet our main character, Kenta, and his friend, who, what is his name? Jinpachi. I'll never remember his name. Jin. We'll call him Jin. So we meet Kenta and Jin, or Jinpachi, and they seem like a nice couple, normal young men, horny as hell, especially Jinpachi, but Kenta is no slouch in the horny department. And then we meet a whole host of female characters. We're really going to focus on one right now, and that is going to be Rika. This episode is focused on her in the sense that she is the first one who kind of falls into the clutches of our villains. And did you notice I did not say just Isaku? Yes, we'll get to that. So Isaku also is part of this. He is the groundskeeper for the school. He's always kind of lurking in the background. His character design is very creepy. He's in full ugly bastard territory. Not fat. He's quite lean. But he is in full ugly bastard territory. But he is always watching, always lurking, always there. And the students all suspect that he is the one who assaulted Mayuki's sister. And they are not afraid to tell him that and call him a creep and various other slurs. Which is, I mean, he's earned it. Let's be honest. This isn't called Isaku the Cuddler. This is, yeah. So, yeah, we get all that going on. We meet all our characters. So the big one is Rika. We also meet Mayuki, the sister of the victim in the beginning. We meet Akemi. I think her name is Akemi. Yes. She is like the star athlete. She has some beef with a teacher who is also a character. I can't remember her name. She's kind of not really a character. She's more just like there and kind of useless. I sound like Akemi because Akemi seems to hate this teacher, but Akemi kind of hates everybody. And I get it. I do. Plus, there's a character, Mio, who is definitely the more hard-headed. I'm going to run in there and I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for my friends, which gets her in trouble. So we have this whole group of characters that we just kind of see in their everyday school lives and get an idea of the world that these characters are in. So Kenta gets a letter in his school bag. He finds a letter and it tells him to go to the old school building and to meet someone up in the music room on the 3rd floor. He thinks it's a love letter from one of the various women we have met. So he does just that. He rushes over there after school, I think it's like 5 o'clock, rushes over, goes in the music room, and finds all of the women plus Jin, the teacher, and a young man named Munamitsu. And all of them have gotten a letter as well. So obviously this is not what anyone thought it was. It is essentially a trap. And they all try and blame Kenta for it, thinking it's a prank. But while they're arguing, they then hear someone nailing, well, it's Isaku, nailing the door shut to the floor. They're stuck in the school, so they have to try and find a way out, which means a bunch of the characters go wander off. When this happens, Rika and Kenta meet in a hallway, and Rika professes her feelings for Kenta, and they have a little kiss, and there's some feeling up, but nothing too much. She says, after we get out of here, we go to karaoke. After karaoke, I'll show you the world. And then she runs off because she has to use the bathroom. That means she is just so overwhelmed by the amazing mediocrity that is Kenta that she just can't resist, and she has to go in full she-bop mode over a squat toilet. And it's actually one of the more interesting scenes because it is not very explicit, but they do something with the sound of dripping water. And it oddly is effective in creating this almost like, because it creates this kind of tempo with the scene. So you have this, what is supposed to be a sexy scene, but you know something bad is going to happen because you can hear someone walking towards the stall that she's in. And then we kind of get the POV, and then the stall door opens and she gets kidnapped. So Rika is our first victim. No one can find her. Everyone's looking around. The two guys, Jinpachi and Munamitsu, we'll call him douchebag. He's a douchebag. So the douchebag and Jin both kind of are like, everyone's kind of saying it's Kenta. It's not Kenta. We know at this point it's not Kenta. And they continue to search. So Kenta finds a videotape. Now, this is one of the concepts from the game that carries over. One of the interesting things about the game, now, I don't think any of the games actually ever made it to the US. I think the closest we ever got is Empress's game, Great Deceiver. Kisaku has a cameo in that because it was released at the same time as a like small Kisaku game. I don't think Elf actually produces those games anymore or produces anything. So in the game, the only way you would ever get any H scenes is if you found the videotapes. If you made it through the game and never found any of the H scenes or any of the tapes, you saw nothing. So the show uses that concept where the characters are finding these tapes. And of course they go and watch it. And the way they do this is they show us while the tape is being filmed. So we have a reveal of everything that's going on. And that is where the first big twist comes in, or the big twist. There's probably more coming, I hope, because this is part of what I didn't enjoy what came of it, but I enjoyed that the story took a risk and revealed its hand and twisted how everything is going on. So Isaku is involved. We do see him filming Rika, who is now tied up on a table. But it is revealed that douchebag, Munamitsu, and Jin are involved. They're actually the ringleaders. And they were we don't know for sure, but now it's hinted that they might have been involved in the assault of Mayuki's sister. And what plays out is douchebag, Munamitsu, assaulting Rika. And the scene is... It's hard to describe because it's honest to God, and it's weird saying this. The scene was too long and it was boring. For me. Now, I will say, if it hits any of your kinks, namely bondage is a big part of it. It doesn't go to like the full lengths of Japanese rope play and bondage, but bondage is a part of this. If that is your thing, you might actually find some enjoyment in the scene. This not really my thing. But it does really reveal a lot about Minamitsu's character. Oh, I remembered his name. Namely, that he is a sadistic woman hater. And that is actually quite disturbing. You even see Jin get like disturbed while watching this happen. Because Minamitsu keeps calling her very horrible things. And he's like smacking her. And you actually have Jin step in and be like, you need to stop. Because I think Jin, I don't know if Jin is the ringleader. we don't really know who is holding all the power in that dynamic, but it almost feels like Jin is the ringleader, but he doesn't understand how unhinged Minamatsu is. And in all of this, Isaku is just kind of silently there filming. And the one thing at the end of the scene, after everything happens, the camera then pulls back and reveals that it's the students watching the video. But in the video, Minamatsu's face is never shown. We barely see any of him. So they don't know that he is the one who assaulted Rika. And Minamatsu very quickly tries to turn it on to Kenta. And Kenta is not having it. So they start fighting. And one of my favorite moments, I wish they actually animated this, but they didn't. But Miyuki is like, no way in hell are we sitting here infighting. We are finding Rika. We are getting the hell out of there. And she does that by she smacks the shit out of both guys. And I loved it. And she's like, we need to find her. We need to get out of here. If we're fighting, we're not looking for her. And that is a problem. So they try and get everything situated. Kenta goes off on his own like an idiot. But, I mean, that's how these characters behave. And Mio, I think it's Mio. Is it Mio? Where's her name? I don't think she's listed on this list. Dang it. I think it's Mio. It might be Ito. No, I think it's Mio. She runs off. She is like, I'm finding Rika. I need to find her. The problem is she runs off alone, and we see her get caught by Minamatsu and Jin. And the episode ends with her getting dragged away. So we know bad things are in store for her in the next episode. Okay, so you have the plot. You have an idea of how dark this show is. I will say the actual adult material itself is fairly... I might have described it as being more explicit or worse than it actually is. But it is not... If this is a subject that is hard for you, skip it. If you can handle it, or if the darker side of erotica is interesting to you, either conceptually or erotically, this show might actually work for you. The animation is solid. The character designs all look really good. The storytelling is engrossing enough where you are involved. And as I could tell you right now, I want to know what the heck... I mean, I know certain things are going to happen, but I want to know what the heck is going to happen next. And I want to know how this is going to end. Because I'm curious if it's going to end with Kenta saving the day and getting everyone out of there, or is Kenta going to take the blame and we get the nihilistic ending, or is Isaku going to turn on the two other guys? Like, what is going to happen? And all of that is it's shaping up to tell that kind of story. And it does feel like they want to tell a story. The majority of this episode is devoted to storytelling and character building. Now, it's a large cast, so none of the characters are particularly deep, but the writing is not bad. I will say the subs on my version were spiced up, and it is a problem I have noticed. It is very clear that they added in curse words where there were no curse words. Like, there was one moment where the subs had someone, like, and this is a simple one. Someone was like, Jesus Christ, and the sub, and in the actual audio, you could just hear it was her saying someone's name. So the subs were a bit spiced up to add in some harsher language to make the characters probably sound a little more mature, which actually does the opposite a lot of the time. But it wasn't overdone. I will say the theme music, it's like a background track. The theme song is really creepy and gives me major Goblin, like Argento vibes, which wouldn't actually surprise me because Italian giallo and horror films are huge in Japan. So, at least from what I've heard, they have a large market and they do have a large influence, and I could definitely see that on here. The misogyny that is on display with the Minamatsu character is quite alarming, but it is played to be horrifying. So the other characters, while they can be a little pervy, even Jin, none of them reach that horrific level. And now I'm wondering, is he the real monster, or is Isaku going to turn on him and reveal that he is even worse? So now I'm like, where is this going to go? How dark is this going to go? And I'm quite curious where episode 2 is going to take us. And episode 2 will be landing on my channel, the review of it at least, will be landing on my channel on next Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And that is my cue to kind of wrap this up. So, overall, did I hate it? No. Did I love it? It's really hard to say I love a show like this. But am I intrigued by the premise and what it potentially could lead to? Yes. That also means this is open to major disappointment if it really goes nowhere and just kind of turns into a sex fest. I fingers crossed that's not what happens, but we shall see as we go. So, new episode Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you like the video, give me a like. It makes me feel good, and it'll help the channel. It's a new channel. It needs all the help it can get. And I could also use some subscribers. So, if you're interested in seeing where this is going, subscribe. And you will be hit the little bell, and you'll be alerted when my next episode review comes out. And as I try and say at the end of all my videos, and hopefully I say it correctly, love what you love, enjoy what you're reading and watching, and fapping too. And have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.